This morning, the Trump administration is advancing one fight and pushing back another. Lawmakers are demanding the DOJ explain why it didn't release all Epstein-related files by last Friday's deadline.
And meanwhile, the administration is ramping up the pressure on Venezuela after seizing a second oil tanker over the weekend. Jared Hill reports.
Off the coast of Venezuela, the U.S. Coast Guard is now in active pursuit of a third oil tanker. This after seizing what the White House calls a second sanctioned vessel early Saturday.
This is another ship that was basically operating in the black market.
Venezuela called the operation a serious act of piracy. The White House accuses both vessels of evading sanctions as it ramps up its pressure campaign on dictator Nicolas Maduro. It follows the seizure nearly 2 weeks ago of another oil tanker, the Skipper. Last week, the president announced a full blockade of sanctioned vessels traveling in and out of Venezuela.
Not going to let anybody going through that shouldn't be going through.
Meanwhile, lawmakers are raising questions about the Justice Department's release of files linked to well-connected convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Starting Friday, the DOJ uploaded thousands of heavily redacted records to its website, including photos and contact lists. But over the weekend, more than a dozen files were removed without explanation. A CBS News review found that includes an image that appears to show a framed picture of President Trump. The image was later reposted.
It has nothing to do with President Trump. If there are survivors in any of the photos, we will redact them.
The two sponsors of the law slammed at the DOJ Sunday for not releasing all files as the law requires by last Friday.
This was a slap in the face of survivors.
They're flouting the spirit and the letter of the law.
They're now working to rally support in the House for inherent contempt charges against Attorney General Pam Bondi. Jared Hill, CBS News.
When it comes to the push for inherent contempt charges in Congress, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said, quote, "Bring it on." The law compelling the Epstein files release does allow some redactions, like in the case of protecting the identity of survivors. And the DOJ says it's working methodically on removing some of those redactions. The law also requires the DOJ to explain to Congress why they're redacting some information and exactly what files it's holding back.